Hey everyone, Rogue Gold here, and today I want to talk a bit about farming in the Division 2. Year 5 begins this week, which means that pretty soon there's going to be a lot of new items being injected into the game that people are going to want to go out and farm, as well as putting together old builds, trying out new combinations, all of that. And so what I wanted to do today was give you all a quick introductory and refresher guide on Countdown, which in my opinion is the best farming spot in the Division 2. It's quick, it's efficient, and you get a ton of high quality loot. And in no time, I will get you up to speed on how this mode plays, how you can engage with it the best, so that you can get to grinding out the stuff that you need for your builds. If you end up enjoying this video, a like would be very appreciated, and be sure to click that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on future guides and content like this. Without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so as I said before, today we are talking about Countdown, which is a game mode within the Division 2 that is highly popular for how efficient it is at farming. In one run, which usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes, you can get up to 40 or 50 pieces of loot at a high quality, along with an additional amount of credits that you can spend on more items outside of the mode. So it is fantastic. Let's get into how you play it and how you can make the most of your time with the mode. The first thing to note is that you do need to be level 40, so if you do not own the Warlords of New York expansion or you've not yet played through it, you will not be able to access Countdown. This is an endgame only mode, so get to there and then you will see it. And you have one of two ways to start the mode. You can either visit the helicopter pilot at the base of operations in DC or New York, or you can open up your mega map in DC, and in the top right you will see the Countdown node above Dark Zone East. Now before you click on it, a very crucial thing that you need to do is open your targeted loot selector. If you hover over the mode on the map, you will see a button at the bottom which lets you open the targeted loot table for the Countdown game mode. And one of the reasons why this is considered by many to be the best farming spot in the game is not only the amount of loot you get, but the specificity in what you can target. So in this table, you can select what type of loot you want to target. This means that the vast majority of your drops within the mode will be of whatever specific category you select. If you need an assault rifle with a certain role, pick assault rifles. If you're trying to put together a gear set build, pick that specific gear set. Brain set, same deal. This is the same as targeted loot works in the rest of the entire game. However, here you can choose what your target is, and because of the efficiency of the mode and the amount of loot that you get, it just makes it that much better. So be sure to update your targeted loot each time you want to go into the mode and farm something. You can also access this menu once you are inside the Countdown game mode in case you get something you need and you want to update it, whatever the case may be. Next up, it is important to talk about the different difficulties that the mode offers. Once you open up the menu for it, before you launch it, you'll see that you can select between normal, hard, challenging, and heroic. These are the same base difficulties you'll find across the rest of the game. The lower the difficulty is, the easier the experience will be, but you will also get, on average, lesser rolled drops compared to the higher difficulties. It doesn't mean that you can't get good stuff on normal, but the higher you go, the better it's going to be. Normal and hard can be soloed with specific builds and in the right circumstances, but the higher difficulties, specifically challenging and heroic, are tailored to be taking advantage of the mode's 8-player matchmaking. Now the brilliance here is that none of the content in the mode requires communication. You can matchmake with up to 8 people and not have to speak with them once to be able to complete the objectives and understand what to do. So my recommendation, if you're just starting out or if you need that more casual experience, is to go into hard or challenging and matchmake with all 8 people. That way they can take the burden away from the combat for yourself. You can still contribute, but you can really rely on the rest of your team to do a lot of the work. Alright, so we've gotten all of that out of the way. Let's now talk about what it looks like once you enter into the game mode. The main purpose here is you have 15 minutes to win it. It's called Countdown because this nuclear reactor is melting down. And so if you don't complete your objectives within that 15-minute timer, you lose out on a lot of potential rewards, experience, etc. What you're first going to see when you open your map is that there are 3 countermeasures, and these are each guarded by 1 hunter with 2 kind of roaming in the middle between there. These countermeasures are debuffs applied to your entire team. Some of them will be less headshot damage, some will be a slower reload speed, but if you can get to those stations and reactivate the countermeasures, you will then get a buff in those same categories. Extra status effect damage, extra crit chance, etc. So the flow of the mode these days when you have a full 8-player team is that the 2 teams will try and converge, take out all of these hunters that are guarding the countermeasures, and reactivate them so that you have these buffs ready to go. It's important that for every hunter defeated, you run over their body as they drop these dog tags, which increase the amount of Countdown credits that you earn, and we'll talk about those more later on. Once those are all taken care of, you're going to realize that you have 3 sub-objectives around the map. These are randomized each time you go into the mode, both in terms of which location they're in and the type of objective that you'll find within them. And what you and your team need to do is clear 2 of these sub-objectives before the main objective unlocks. If you choose to do all three, or if your team can stretch those resources, then you will get extra credits at the end, but just doing 2 is required to progress in the mode. And as I said, these are non-communication required levels of difficulty content. There's stuff like taking over certain capture points, just eliminating enemies, taking out some servers and warhounds, very basic stuff. Then, once you complete those, you will move on to the main objective. This is in one singular location. This is intended for all 8 players in the mode to reconvene and take on this challenge together. Each of the 6 different rooms within the Countdown map has a different unique main objective where they have a bit more complex mechanics than the sub-objectives, but still nothing that will require communication. And if you can complete that main objective while you still have time on the 15-minute clock, you've won. You've completed the mode and you'll get your main rewards, which can be found at a primary chest that will unlock at each of the 6 locations, regardless of where your main objective is. At this point, you now have 4 minutes to extract. One of the 3 extraction and infiltration points on the map will highlight, and that is where you need to get to with your team in order to extract and get the full amount of the rewards that you can. But be prepared, because on the way you're going to find even more hunters, tons of enemies spawning in. It's super chaotic, super fun, and again, as long as you stay with your team and you know what you're doing, you should be able to get out of there no problem. The last thing to mention about the mode itself is that once you extract, you'll see the total amount of credits you get at the top. You'll see all the rewards that you earned, but once you return back to the base, be sure to visit the Countdown vendor. I will show where it is on screen right here. And all of those credits that you're earning in the mode can be spent here. They have different nade items available each week. There's also a selection of caches that can be super valuable for building up your arsenal, different things like exotic caches, great offerings. So again, be sure to run over each hunter that is defeated to get the dog tags. Be sure that if you can take out that 3rd objective, you do it, because that's all going to get you more credits, and those can be spent at this vendor once you complete the mode. Alright, so that is the general breakdown of the Countdown game mode. Very easy to understand, and again, it is so valued because of how quickly you can get through a run of it and how many items you get for doing it. I want to quickly give you a few basic tips before you head in there if you're doing it for the first time or if you just want a better understanding of it. The first one is to have a farming goal. There's going to be a lot going on, and because it's such a fast-paced mode, you don't want to have to spend a ton of time sitting there looking through loot piles deciding if you want to take something or not. And so one of the best ways that I combat this is to have enough space in your bag from the get-go. If you have at least 50 spaces available in your backpack before you go into a Countdown run, that should be enough so that you don't have to spend time looking at loot, and you can either just pick everything up or pick it up as junk so that you can then sort through it once you get back to the base of operations and decide which to sell, deconstruct, and keep. This way it keeps the flow going really well. It allows you to easily keep up with your group so you can see where they're going, see how they complete the objective so that you can improve on each Countdown run that you do. Follow those simple rules and in no time you will be an expert at the Countdown game mode. As I said, completely lucrative for loot. Each hunter drops a named item, regular items, there's chests everywhere, all the ads are going to drop items. There's so much potential to get from the Countdown game mode, so if you're not taking advantage of this, you absolutely should be, and in my opinion and many others, it is the best place to farm in the game, specifically for the amount of loot that you can get for the time invested. It's great. That's the guide on Countdown, everybody. Very much hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. Let me know any thoughts or questions you have about the mode. If you're still confused about anything, want any clarifications, I will do my best to respond, so leave it down there. And that's going to do for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Rogue Gold. Ow.